In the 98th minute of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final, the Senegalese national team walked off the pitch protesting a penalty decision. After a 14-minute delay, the players returned. The match continued through extra time, and Senegal scored in the 94th minute to win the championship 1-0 on the field. 2 months later, the Confederation of African Football, or CAF, stripped Senegal of the title and awarded the championship to the runner-up, Morocco. To justify this administrative reversal, the CAF Appeal Board invoked Article 82 of their competition regulations, which mandates forfeiture for any team that abandons a match. Reversing a certified continental championship is one of the most severe actions in sports law. Overturning it requires a precise, mathematically rigorous appellate response to dismantle the administrative ruling. The legal appeal submitted to the Court of Arbitration for Sport was not drafted by human lawyers. An AI Agentic framework authored the entire brief. This system relies on Claude as the primary orchestrator, guided by a human in the loop, and supported by peripheral LLMs like Kimi, ChatGPT, and Gemini. It operates through an iterative loop, using embedded legal rubrics to parse statutes, test hypotheses, and construct arguments across multiple cycles. The objective assigned to this framework was to locate linguistic gaps in the CAF regulations and synthesize historical arbitration jurisprudence to dismantle the forfeiture. This multi-agent configuration enables elite deduction, allowing a system built for text generation to perform rigorous appellate strategy. The framework begins its analysis with a specific embedded rubric, identifying the authoritative text to prevent translation discrepancies. Scanning the AFCON rulebook, the AI isolates Article 116. It identifies the phrase fait foi, a legal standard dictating that the French version of the text governs and prevails in any dispute. Following this rule, the framework discards all English translations. Every subsequent logical step and textual analysis proceeds strictly in French. The AI then targets the exact trigger condition within Article 82. The French text states a team forfeits if they walk off avant la fin réglementaire du match. Fin réglementaire defines the regulatory end of the match, the strict 90-minute period before any extra time occurs. The system maps this definition against the factual timeline. The Senegalese walk-off occurred at minute 98. This falls within discretionary added time, occurring entirely after the 90-minute regulatory end had already passed. The AI identifies a fatal temporal flaw. Because the walk-off incident occurred outside the exact window defined by the penalizing rule, no Article 82 offense actually occurred. To validate this narrow reading, the AI executes a 75.11, which explicitly places prolongations, the 30 minutes of extra time, after the temps réglementaire. The regulations structurally distinguish the 90-minute period from extra time. The system then runs an external scan, comparing CAF's Article 82 against the equivalent forfeiture rules of other international governing bodies. It parses the disciplinary codes of UEFA and FIFA. Both organizations deliberately use the phrase played in full, a standard that encompasses the entire event, with no specific temporal boundaries. The AI deduces that CAF specifically selected the phrase fin réglementaire. Broader language was readily available in international football law, yet CAF opted for a restrictive boundary. This comparative linguistic analysis proves that CAF's wording was a deliberate limitation. This phrasing legally shields results achieved in extra time from Article 82 forfeiture. Using this established textual trap, Claude drafts the primary legal argument asserting that the forfeiture is invalid. The human in the loop then initiates a red team phase. Peripheral models Kimi and Gemini are tasked to aggressively attack Claude's draft from the perspective of CAF's defense counsel. The peripheral models generate the most probable counterargument. CAF will claim the word match inherently includes extra time, rendering the exact minute of the walk-off irrelevant. Claude processes this attack and generates a defense. Adopting CAF's broad definition of match in Article 82 would directly contradict the structural logic they established in Article 75.11, breaking their own rulebook. The human in the loop orchestrates this adversarial iteration, refining the parameters to ensure the models debate precise syntax rather than drifting into generalities. This internal stress testing forces the system to anticipate and neutralize opposing logic, producing a battle-tested legal defense capable of surviving appellate scrutiny. Linguistic deduction alone is rarely enough to overturn a major sporting decision. The AI requires binding precedent to neutralize any residual ambiguity regarding CAF's counterargument. The framework initiates a database search of historical rulings from the Court of Arbitration for Sport, targeting decisions on standard of proof and the limits of administrative sanctions. It extracts Case 6226. This ruling enforces the principle of nulla pona sine lege clara, which dictates that punitive rules must be clear, precise, and predictable for the participants. The AI applies Case 6226 to demand a strict reading of Article 82. It argues that CAF cannot stretch the definition of the rule after the fact to cover extra time, because doing so violates the requirement for precise regulations. The system then extracts a second precedent, Case 7215, which establishes strict limitations on retroactively removing the results of a completed sporting event. The AI layers this ruling over the factual timeline. Because the match resumed and the referees certified the final score, Case 7215 legally protects the extra-time victory from post-match administrative nullification. By layering two highly specific CAS precedents, the AI provides the binding authority needed to move this from a theoretical linguistic point to actionable sports law. The output of this rigorous stress testing and precedent anchoring process is Draft 17, the final appellate argument. The final argument leads with the structural and linguistic proof that the trigger condition of Article 82 was never met. It then layers in the jurisprudential proof. Under CAS rules, ambiguous regulations cannot be used to retroactively nullify a completed result. The AI successfully engineered a double-lock appellate strategy, a dual defense that leaves CAF with no textual or jurisprudential avenue to maintain the forfeiture. This AFCON methodology proves that artificial intelligence is no longer restricted to summarizing text. It executes complex, multi-layered legal reasoning. When guided by human experts, agentic frameworks successfully anticipate adversarial counterarguments and navigate the syntax of foreign language statutes. This approach demonstrates the future of elite analytical rigor across highly specialized professional domains. The framework serves as a high-velocity legal research and stress testing engine, allowing for a level of analytical depth that would take weeks for a human team to replicate. This analysis is presented by Project Hamburg Research Inc., a 501c3 nonprofit organization focused on bridging artificial intelligence with professional sectors. For more information on agentic frameworks and applied research, visit our website,